the doubt, they counting me out, I'm getting it in, yeah. No time for no loss, I'm paying the cost, I'm in it to win, yeah. Refuse, mine, it can't be diffused. If you ain't thinking the same, then we playing by different rules. You can't see the vision, we living at different views. Until we complete the mission, keep getting up, never snooze. I walked a mile in my shoes, had the mind of a fool, chasing diamonds and jewels. Trust me, I was confused. Started minding my business and used my mind as a tool. Ended up finding my purpose and found the time to get to it. They told me I couldn't do it, they told me I couldn't make it. They sold it, could never break it. That's sadly mistaken. I need a piece of the pie, I want it so bad I can taste it. They told me, like told me, keep on running, toes they gon' take them. Used to lose, built to win, apply myself, I felt it in. No time for the doubt, they counting me out, I'm getting it in, yeah. No time for no loss, I pay for the cost, I'm winning to win, yeah. Refuse to lose, I'm built to win, apply myself.
Welcome back to CTC. I'm your gracious host, Carl, and I'm back with another episode. Today we'll be recapping Week 7, Tuesday through Friday. Man, Week 7 was fun. So Week 7 was lit. I can't wait to recap the weekend games that I previewed. You know, not even a spoiler. If you watched, Vanderbilt pulled it off. I was hot this weekend. I had a really good week this weekend. But before we get into anything, I'd like to ask that you like, comment, share, subscribe. It helps the channel. It helps the network. It helps my channel, CTC, by way of the Refuse to Lose network. I'm going to go over some shows that the network has to provide, including the main show featuring Joe, Tom, and Dave, which I was featured on today. But that's every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, 7 o'clock. Then we have BWT, Baseball with Teddy. Shout out BWT. Yankees got the win in Game 1 against the Guardians. Against the Guardians. Tigers lost in 5. Great season, fellas. It is what it is. We made it far. I don't think people expected us to be that far. So, great season. But shout out baseball with Teddy. FFC, fantasy football with Coach Coombs, should be live either tomorrow or Wednesday. Fantasy football content, NFL content through there. Dave's Doghouse, highlights and lowlights of sport. You can catch all that there. Have Real Ballers Only, RBO, featuring Vaughn, NBA content. Those NBA previews should be out soon. So make sure you get a hold of those. We have Kings Talk with Joe Jordan. NBA season is around the corner. And the Sacramento Kings, all your content for them through Joe. We have Indie Red Corner, boxing content, boxing show, featuring Ty, Ricky, Tomo, boxing episodes, and all your boxing content through there. And last but certainly not least, we have Unfazed featuring Joe Jordan and JJ and AJ, every Tuesday, 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central. Should be fun. Should be interesting this Tuesday. Every Tuesday. So far, NFL content. So that's all the shows that the channel has to offer. Now, without further ado, let's get into these recaps. Shout out my boy Teddy. Said what's good. What's up, my guy? Tough L. Not going to talk about that this show. I will be talking about that tomorrow. But yeah, that was a tough L this week, my boy. Save the parlay. But tough L nonetheless for you. My banner's up. We got to talk about a game that I didn't think was going to be a close one, but it ended up being a really good game. Liberty goes into overtime and beats FIU 31-24 at home. Liberty still undefeated in Conference USA play. I believe they're undefeated, period. But this was a good game, man. FIU fought until the end, fought their way back down 14. Caused some turnovers. Both teams had some costly turnovers, but the most costly turnover was FIU fumbling in overtime. Fumbled the game away. Sack fumble on Keon Jenkins to end the game, but really good, entertaining game. Liberty was able to do whatever they wanted on the ground, though. They really were. Shout out Eric Rivers, receiver for FIU. Late game, woke up, came alive, and was making big plays down the stretch of the game. But let's talk about the game. Liberty starts with a 3-and-out punt, while FIU starts with a 3-and-out punt. Then Liberty scores a 28-yard field goal. FIU scores a 31-yard field goal. FIU scores a Dean Patterson fumble recovery in the end zone. That was set up by Dean Patterson, 25-yard catch. So they had the ball like the 1 or something like that. The quarterback or whatever fumbled. The guy fumbled and they picked it up in the end zone. Liberty scores a 4-yard Quentin Cooley touchdown run set up by Quentin Cooley, 14-yard run. With 20 seconds left in the second quarter, Liberty scores a 20-yard Caden Salter touchdown run set up by Quentin Cooley, 13-yard run. Now, that drive before half was crazy. Caden Salter had scored maybe a play or two prior to when he actually scored, but penalties killed them that drive, set them back a lot, but they were able to overcome all the penalties to score. FIU starts the second half with a Keon Jenkins interception, leads to a Quentin Cooley fumble, which will lead to a punt. So both teams out the gate to start the second half, turn the ball over. Quentin Cooley actually fumbled on the 1-yard line. FIU turnover on downs, 4th and 4. Keon Jenkins passes incomplete, leads to a 9-yard Quentin Cooley touchdown run. Excuse me. FIU scores a 3-yard Keon Owens touchdown run set up by Eric Rivers, 40-yard catch. FIU scores a 1-yard Keon Jenkins touchdown run set up by Eric Rivers, 23-yard catch. That would lead into overtime, and where in overtime, Liberty would score a 9-yard Caden Salter touchdown run, and Keon Jenkins, like I said, would get strip sacked, fumbled, and that would be your ball game. Liberty will win. FIU looked like a good team, though. I see FIU looks more improved, even with the loss of who's that big time receiver at FIU? Jonte West was FIU. I can't even remember his name, bro. I'm so sorry. They had a big time receiver who left, and I can't remember who his name was, but they've still stepped up. They're looking better. Keon Jenkins, it looks like he's been better with a year under his belt. Liberty doesn't look as dominant in Conference USA as they had prior. They got to figure it out on defense. Offensively, they look fine. Just got to figure it out on defense because Western Kentucky looks good. Sam Houston State looks good. Jack State starting to look better. But Liberty, if they don't get this together, they got some competition for a Conference USA championship this year. And it's really making me mad. I can't think of FIU's transfer wide receiver who left. It's really making me mad. I can't even remember where he went. Oh, my God. I'm so mad. I can't think of it. Chris Mitchell. That's his name, Chris Mitchell. Where did he even go? But, Chris Mitchell was the guy last year. Big-time receiver for them. Went to Notre Dame. Yeah. But we're going to move on. Man, I don't want to even hear about it. I know, bruh. I know. Trust me, I know. I forgot who y'all play this week. Y'all play another 3-3 team. I just can't remember who it is. But hopefully y'all can pull that off. Hey, Teddy, y'all are one game away from tying my prediction with 6 games left. So there's that, man. There's that. 3 wins, you make a bowl, you shatter my prediction. You get to rub it in. So fight on, brother. Fight on. Next game we got for y'all is New Mexico State getting annihilated by Jacksonville State. Jack State. Shout out to Jack State boys. Got my Jack State shirt on. Rich Rod, man. 2 straight dominant wins. 2 good-looking wins. Conference USA Weekday. So, man, getting the conference play. Jack State looking real strong. Just dominated these boys. Prayers up to Monty Watkins. He got carted off the field after a botched play. It's just a botched play. The play was just broken from the start, and it was just unfortunate. Prayers up to him. But not much really to say about this game. It was a blowout. Jack State was just able to do whatever they wanted. New Mexico State, they were able to move the ball a little bit to start the game, but not finish drives. Jack State just dominant in every facet of the game. I'll talk about what happened, but we'll just keep it moving after that since it was such a blowout with a 41-point win. So Jack State, they would miss a 41-yard field goal to start, which would lead to a 53-yard field goal from New Mexico State. Jack State would score a 10-yard Trey Stewart touchdown run set up by Michael Petaway 54-yard catch. With 14:51 left in the second quarter, New Mexico State, Seth McGowan tackled for a safety, which will lead to a 32-yard Trey Stewart touchdown catch after the safety. New Mexico State, Monty Watkins would fumble. This would be the play I'm talking about, just a botch play. Prayers up. Which would lead to a 3-and-out punt. New Mexico State would score a 41-yard field goal. Jack State would respond with a 45-yard field goal. Jack State would score a 48-yard Trey Stewart touchdown run set up by Jacob Berg 15-yard catch. New Mexico State Santino Marucci would fumble, which would lead to a 2-yard Tyler Huff touchdown run. New Mexico State would start the second half with a punt. Jack State would start the second half with a 28-yard Andrew Paul touchdown run set up by a defensive pass interference. New Mexico State turnover on downs, 4th and 2. Mike Washington, no gain, which will lead to a 5-yard Brock Reichsteiner touchdown catch. Another turnover on downs, 4th and 9 from New Mexico State. Passes incomplete, which will lead to a 72-yard Logan Smothers touchdown run. New Mexico State would score a 21-yard P.J. Johnson touchdown catch, set up by P.J. Johnson 22-yard catch. And Jack State turnover on downs, 4th and 2. Andrew Paul, no gain, which will lead to a Parker A. Watt interception, which will lead to the end of the game. Like I said, Jack State did whatever they wanted. Even had Andrew Paul, the transfer from Georgia, come in and get a touchdown. Logan Smothers came in and got a touchdown, 72-yarder. It was just all bad for New Mexico State, and it looked all good for Jacksonville State. We move on from one Conference USA blowout to a Sun Belt blowout. And this game, I expected to be a little closer, but JMU was able to do what I told them to do. JMU forced Coastal Carolina to pass, and that passing offense was dysfunctional, just very dysfunctional. Ethan Vasco threw a couple interceptions, just was not able to consistently move the ball when forced to pass. While JMU, they were able to score. They were able to move the rock. Alonzo Barrett looked really good. Alonzo Barnett, excuse me. Alonzo Barnett looked really good. He missed a couple throws early, but he got into the rhythm of the game, and from there it was over. JMU looked really dominant in this game. Again, the passing game from Coastal Carolina looked suspect. But that's what you want to do if you're playing Coastal Carolina. Make Ethan Vasco consistently have to make plays and beat you with his arm. And JMU came out on top in blowout fashion. So JMU would start with an Alonzo Barnett fumble, which would lead to a 3-and-out punt. Then JMU would score a 9-yard George Pettaway touchdown catch set up by a George Pettaway 18-yard run. Coastal Carolina would respond with a 40-yard Jamison Tucker touchdown catch set up by a Cameron Wright 24-yard catch. With 13:01 left in the second quarter, JMU scores a 25-yard Taylor Thompson touchdown catch set up by a Taylor Thompson 33-yard catch. The 2-point would be good. Ethan Vasco throws a thick 6 to Lloyd Summerall. Pick 6 to the big guy, takes it to the crib. I believe the ball was batted, which led to the big fella taking it back to the crib. And then JMU would score a 5-yard Alonzo Barnett touchdown run set up by Tajay Hudson, 19-yard catch. Coastal Carolina would start the second half with a 3-and-out punt. JMU would start the second half with a 3-yard Dylan Williams touchdown catch set up by Jaden Mines, 24-yard run. Ethan Vasco would throw a second interception, which would lead to a turnover on downs, 4th and 2. Tyler Purdy, 1-yard run, which would lead to a 3-and-out punt. And then with 5:14 left in the fourth quarter, JMU would score a 35-yard field goal, and that would be it for the game. Like I said, I already talked about the game in blowout fashion and how Coastal Carolina threw 2 interceptions, or Ethan Vasco threw 2 interceptions when forced to throw the ball. So shout out to JMU, another strong win in the Sun Belt. And look out, but JMU might be competing for a Sun Belt this year. First year in competition where they're allowed to compete for the championship, and they might win it all. Before I get into this next game, got some comments. We got Tomo not going to talk trash, though. Teddy says, bro, we got Maryland. I think that's a win for y'all. I think y'all beat Maryland. Then they got Rutgers. Rutgers is going to be tough because y'all kind of struggle stopping the run. And Rutgers is solely focused on the run. But I do feel like y'all can give Ethan. I feel like y'all give Ethan Kelly-Akman his problems. I'll give y'all those 2 games. I'll give you Maryland and I'll give you Rutgers. I'm probably not going to preview those, though. But I'll let you know right now. I'll take USC over Maryland and I'll take USC over Rutgers. So there you go. Breaking my prediction right there in the next 2 weeks. We got Middle Tennessee State. Oh, I never told y'all who I had winning these games. So let me backtrack. I'm not going to change the banner. First game, FIU Liberty. I picked Liberty, 1-0. New Mexico State, Jacksonville State. I obviously picked Jacksonville State, 2-0. Coastal Carolina, JMU. I believe I picked JMU, but I picked Coastal to kind of keep it close. 3-0, you can say my explanation of why or whatever is wrong. I will not be upset at you for that. But I did pick JMU nonetheless. Now, my first loss of the weekday starts here. Middle Tennessee State at Louisiana Tech. Middle Tennessee State absolutely got boat raced in this game. I did pick Middle Tennessee State to win the game. I did think Middle Tennessee State could better pass the ball, was the better passing team. And Louisiana Tech shut up, Carl. We're going to throw all over Middle Tennessee State. threw all over these guys. Evan Bullock had a monster game. I believe he finished with 5-6 touchdowns. First Louisiana Tech got to do that in a long time. Sonny Cumby gave up the play calling, and Louisiana Tech looked unstoppable against Middle Tennessee State. At first, this game started off with a nice back and forth. Middle Tennessee State scored 2 touchdowns out the gate. Louisiana Tech matched, but then Louisiana Tech just took off. Middle Tennessee State could not answer or keep up, and that led to this blowout. Evan Bullock, like I said, a phenomenal game. True Edwards had a decent game. Amiri Wiggins had a big game. Just Louisiana Tech offense just exploded onto the scene. And look out. Don't look now, but people might have to look out for Louisiana Tech in that Conference USA. They already like to sling the ball around. If they can do it effectively, that could be a dangerous team in Conference USA. But let's talk about the game. Middle Tennessee State starts with a 18-yard Holden Willis touchdown catch, set up by Holden Willis 35-yard catch. Louisiana Tech starts with a 5-yard Mary Wiggins touchdown catch, set up by Mary Wiggins 19-yard run. They had a big kickoff return to set that up. Middle Tennessee State scores a 24-yard Jakail Middlebrook touchdown catch, set up by Holden Willis 16-yard catch. Louisiana Tech scores a 15-yard Jimmy Holiday touchdown catch. He also had a pretty good game. Set up by True Edwards 28-yard catch, but the PAT would be no good. Then Middle Tennessee State, Amari Kelly would fumble. And this is where the game shifted. I felt like on the third drive where Amari Kelly fumbled, that shifted momentum completely. Louisiana Tech, I believe, scored off that, and Middle Tennessee State was never able to grab momentum ever again in that game. Yeah, Amari Kelly fumble was released to a 16-yard Amiri Wiggins touchdown catch. Louisiana Tech scores a 20-yard Jay Wilkerson touchdown catch, set up by Jimmy Holiday 29-yard run. Middle Tennessee State punts. Louisiana Tech fumbles, but that leads to a Nick Vadiato interception, which will lead to a 1-yard Evan Bullock touchdown run. Now, when the punt return happened, I believe Middle Tennessee State started driving the ball, and I thought, okay, this might be the chance to snatch momentum back. Then Vadiato throws a bad interception, and that, again, killed momentum chances. Like I said, Evan Bullock will capitalize with a 1-yard touchdown run, and then Louisiana Tech will miss a 24-yard field goal, but that would lead to halftime. And then coming out to half, Louisiana Tech starts with the second half with a 75-yard True Edwards touchdown catch. Middle Tennessee State starts the second half with an 8-yard Jada Cradle touchdown run, set up by Gamarion Carter 19-yard catch. Louisiana Tech scores a 19-yard Solo Lewis touchdown catch, set up by Marquise Crosby. Marquise Crosby threw the touchdown, and that was set up by Solo Lewis 20-yard catch. And it was 9:49 left in the fourth quarter. Middle Tennessee State turnover on downs, 4th and goal. It was a bad snap, and that leads to a 3-and-out punt. And that would be it for your game. The game would basically get salted away. Again, Louisiana Tech did a phenomenal job through the air, looked unstoppable. Middle Tennessee State looked really good their first 2 drives, but after the Amari Kelly fumble, momentum was just hard to snatch after that. And Middle Tennessee State took full advantage and won the game. So shout out to them. Proved me wrong. Got themselves a big W. 2-3 and on the season. I want to say they're 1-0 in conference play. Let me look. They're 1-1. They lost to FIU. 1-1 in conference play. So got some work to do. Next game, another blowout. It started off kind of close, kind of competitive, even though Western Kentucky was able to move down the field. It just UTEP was able to do some stuff that I don't think even Western Kentucky thought was sustainable, and it wasn't. After a while, it looked like they was going to go point for point with Western Kentucky, but Western Kentucky Arsenal is just way too much. UTEP is not going to continuously stop them, and they're not going to continuously put up points. That's not their game. Their game is to try to keep it close and hang around and steal a victory at the end. And Western Kentucky at home with the red, the Hilltopper logos uniforms, they weren't about to let that happen. So, got a comment. Let's get into it. They are doing the bad beat segment on SportsCenter right now, and I feel like we should send out tickets. And hey, man, I low key feel you, man. We got Khalil Shakur. The Bills did us dirty. Shakur wasn't even in the game a lot, but this ain't that type of show. But man, Teddy, too soon. West Kentucky starts with a punt. UTEP starts with the punt. Western Kentucky scores a 30-yard Dalvin Smith touchdown catch. Set up by a KD Hutchinson 42-yard run. All right, UTEP will score a 76-yard Kenny Odom touchdown catch. Then Caden Veltkamp, would throw an interception, which will lead to a Cade McConnell interception. Which, by the way, Cade McConnell got benched after this. They brought in Skylar Locklear, which will lead to a 12-yard Michael Matheson touchdown run. Then Western Kentucky scores a 25-yard field goal. Then Western Kentucky scores a 2-yard Caden Veltkamp touchdown run, set up by Keyshawn Johnson, 18-yard catch. Western Kentucky will score a 42-yard field goal. Then UTEP will start the second half with a 100-yard Corey Wren kickoff return touchdown. So basically opening kickoff in the second half, took it for a touchdown. Western Kentucky started the second half with a punt. UTEP will score a 42-yard field goal. Then Western Kentucky will score an 18-yard Michael Matheson touchdown catch, set up by Easton Messer, 57-yard catch. UTEP turnover on downs, 4th and 8. Skylar Locklear, 2-yard run, leads to a 3-yard Michael Matheson touchdown catch. And another turnover on downs, 4th and 3. Izell Jolly, no gain, leads to a 54-yard field goal. And that'd be a ball game. Like I said, man, Western Kentucky, as soon as they took off, it was no looking back. UTEP, they had the kickoff return to try to help. They had another field goal, but it just wasn't enough. One offensive touchdown is not going to be enough against this Western Kentucky team. Now we move on to the Friday nights, and boy, I thought would be a good win for Maryland, turned to be out a blowout win for Northwestern, 37-10. And what can I say, man? Northwestern defense was smothering. They smothered their 3 leading receivers, which is Ty Felton, Caden Proctor, and I don't want to say this name wrong. It's Preston Howard. Smothered those guys. They really couldn't get going like they normally get going. AJ Henning had a pretty good game. Cam Porter had a pretty good game. I think overall, Northwestern offense was pretty okay. Defense set them up in pretty good positions. It's just Maryland's passing attack was not as lethal as it normally has been, and I give that more so credit to Northwestern's defense. Comments, and we keep it pushing. Marshall really gave up a 20-point lead. Laugh my butt off. That is crazy. Yeah, I did see that. I saw Marshall was up. I didn't see the final in that game, but they gave it up to Georgia Southern, which is crazy. I thought Marshall should have won that game. And when I seen them up, I was like, cool, they doing what they're supposed to do. Did not realize that they ended up losing that game with so much going on with the 7:30s and the K-State Colorado game and Boise State Hawaii, and I want to say what else was on. I think Washington State, Fresno State was on around that time. But, hey, man, way to blow a Sun Belt chance. But let's get into the Northwestern Maryland. Northwestern will start with a 3-and-out punt. Maryland starts with a 3-and-out punt. Northwestern scores a 9-yard Jack Lowe's touchdown run set up by AJ Henning, 40-yard catch. By the way, I did pick Maryland to win this. So, full disclosure. Northwestern scores a 3-yard Cam Porter touchdown run. Bryce Kurtz, 40-yard catch, set that up. Maryland will fumble the next kickoff, which will lead to a 43-yard field goal. Then Maryland will score a 1-yard Billy Edwards Jr. touchdown run set up by Preston Howard, 19-yard catch. With 11 seconds left in the second quarter, Maryland misses a 54-yard field goal, which will lead to halftime. Then Maryland will start the second half with a turnover on downs, 4 for 4 passes incomplete, leads to a 3-and-out punt. Then Maryland will score a 31-yard field goal. Billy Edwards would then get sacked and fumbled, which will lead to an Aiden Hubbard scoop and score. Maryland would turn the ball over on downs, 4 for 6 passes incomplete, leading to a 39-yard field goal. Then Preston Howard would fumble for Maryland, leading to a 39-yard field goal. And then Billy Edwards Jr. would throw an interception, which will lead to a 19-yard Jake Arthur's touchdown run. And then 4th and 8, turnover on downs for Maryland, which will lead to the end of the game. Like I said, defense for Northwestern just stepped up. They just suffocated Maryland. Maryland couldn't really get much going. Shout out to Northwestern's defense for that. And shout out to them because that's another week that Turpin is quiet. So I picked Maryland in that one. In the Utah-Western Kentucky game, I did pick Western Kentucky. And then I picked Middle Tennessee State in the Middle Tennessee State-Louisiana Tech game. Next game we got, I did pick UNLV to beat Utah State. And UNLV won 50-34 in a high-scoring game that was way worse than what the final score indicates. At one point, I want to say the score was like 41-14. This game was not close. It was not at all. It was absolutely a blowout. UNLV came out hot early, hitting multiple 30-yard plus pass plays and plays in general. Utah State cannot stop UNLV out the gate. I do feel like UNLV might have took their foot off the gas a little bit at the start. Basically in the second half, knowing that the game was out of reach. Kind of got a little shaky towards the end. Or could have cut it. Could have made it a 14-point game with a touchdown to 2, but they did not get the 2. But overall, UNLV were not threatened in this game at all. Shout out Haas Malik Williams. This offense looks a little more dynamic. It looks better through the air than it did with Saluka. Defense was pretty opportunistic, as it always is. Ricky White, he's going to do his thing through the air. Utah State, Spencer Petras, like I said, man, it's going to be tough. With Spencer Petras at quarterback, it's going to be tough to get things going on that offensive end. And it just was. I contemplated giving y'all the short version of this game just because of how bad it was. But I ended up writing it out, so I'll just talk about it real quick. So UNLV starts with a 5-yard Kalen James touchdown run set up by Jacob DeJesus 37-yard catch. Utah State will start with a punt. And then with 5:40 left in the first quarter, UNLV scores an 18-yard Ricky White touchdown catch set up by a 14-yard Ricky White catch. Utah State will score a 20-yard Rasul phase-on touchdown run set up by Jack Hestera 17-yard catch. UNLV will score a 33-yard field goal. Utah State Spencer Petras would fumble, leading to an 18-yard Casey Kane touchdown catch. Then Spencer Petras for Utah State would throw a pick, which would lead to a 22-yard Kylan James touchdown run. Then Spencer Petras would throw another interception, which would lead to a 46-yard field goal for UNLV. Then UNLV scores a 31-yard Ricky White touchdown catch. Utah State will start the second half with a 24-yard Jack Hestera touchdown catch set up by a Brock Lane 15-yard catch. UNLV will start the second half with a 29-yard Jada Thomas touchdown run set up by a Jada Thomas 13-yard run, and the PAT would be no good. Utah State will score a 13-yard Jalen Warriors touchdown catch set up by Jack Hestera 19-yard catch. With 14:37 left in the fourth quarter, UNLV turnover on downs 4 for 23. Haas Malik Williams is sacked, which leads to a 6-yard Brock Lane touchdown catch. And Utah State's Spencer Petras will throw another interception, which will lead to a 36-yard field goal. The Utah State will finally score a 3-yard Herschel Turner touchdown run. Jalen Royals set it up with a 24-yard catch, and the 2-point would be no good, and that'll be a ball game. Like I said, just a blowout of a game. UNLV dominated this game from start to finish. The score doesn't indicate how much of a blowout this game was, and we'll move forward to our last game of the preview for the weekday. Utah at Arizona State. I did pick Utah to win because Cam Rising was playing, but first drive of the game, Cam Rising gets hurt again. He decides to play the game. The entire game, while hurt, does not look the same. Throws 3 interceptions, and they lose to Arizona State on the road. Cam Rising is now, as we currently speak, out indefinitely, looking to be out for the rest of the year. And they say he may qualify for another medical hardship, that would be year 8. I would just say, you know what? It's over. Year 8 in college, you'll be 26, maybe 27. Bro, it's over. Okay, you go through year 8. You play really well. You're probably not going to get drafted. If you get drafted, you're going to get drafted high. And I'm a Cam Rising fan, but at some point, it's like, all right, you always are getting hurt. Last year, we had optimism. You'll come back. You didn't even come back. You never came back. You never suited up. Year before last, same thing. It's just Cam Rising is always hurt. I'm all for a guy chasing his dreams and everything, but I think it's about time to hang it up. I think it is. In terms of the game, Cam Scatterbo is going to be Cam Scatterbo. Sam Levitt just keeps looking better and better. He got hurt on a broken play, got tackled, got hurt, but he came back. But really, for real, it's just Cam Scatterbo. The way he just wears down and leans on the defense running the ball, even to do it, in my opinion, to this Utah defense is really good, man. I think guys need to take note of Cam Scatterbo if you haven't already. He's a guy that I would look at drafting in the NFL. Now, people running back values are different, so people might draft him if they do in the 5th or 6th round because, hey, that's the value of a running back at this juncture of football. But he's a really good back. But let's talk about the game. Utah will start with a 48-yard field goal. Arizona State will start with a Sam Levitt interception. That was kind of a freakish play. Ball got hit, tipped, it landed right in big fella lap. But that would lead to a 40-yard field goal. The Arizona State will score a 26-yard Jordan Tyson, that's my guy, touchdown catch. Set up by Xavier Guillory, 27-yard catch, but the PAT would be no good. Then the next drive is where Sam Levitt gets hurt. Jeff Sims will score a 2-yard touchdown run set up by Cam Scatterbo, 16-yard catch. Utah's Cam Rising would throw a pick, but that would lead to a punt. Utah would then score a 29-yard field goal. Then to start the second half, Arizona State will start with a 3-and-out punt. Utah starts with a Cam Rising interception, which will lead to a 3-and-out punt. Utah will score a 6-yard Michael Bernard touchdown run set up by Brant Knife, 23-yard catch. Arizona State will score a 50-yard Cam Scatterbo touchdown run set up by Jordan Tyson, 22-yard catch. Then Utah, turnover on downs, 4th and 8. Money Parks had a 4-yard catch, which will lead to a turnover on downs for Arizona State. 4th and 1. Cam Scatterbo, no gain, which will lead to a 46-yard field goal for Utah. Then Arizona State will score a game-icing 47-yard Cam Scatterbo touchdown run set up by Cam Scatterbo, 21-yard catch. And then Utah's Cam Rising would throw the game-losing interception. That would lead to the end of the game. Like I said, Cam Scatterbo was able to lean on this defense, something serious, something that I didn't expect. I expect him to do well. I expect him to lean on defenses, but Utah defense is normally stout, and I felt like they'll be able to contain them, but no, they were not. Cam Rising being hurt yet again, huge blow for Utah. Might take them out of the Big 12 championship race, which would also kill my parlay, but it is what it is. Only bet a $5 free bet, so it is what it is. And it's my fault. I knew I shouldn't have bet on Cam Rising because of injuries. But yeah, Utah is looking about done for the Big 12. Arizona State, they're looking primed to play for the Big 12. Now, there are more undefeated teams. You got Iowa State, who's undefeated. Arizona State lost one game, but they did lose a Big 12 game. They lost to Texas Tech. So, got some work to do. But, yeah, BYU, I believe, is still undefeated in Big 12 play. BYU lost to somebody. Was it Kansas State? Who did BYU lose to? It was somebody BYU might be undefeated. BYU actually might be undefeated. BYU is undefeated. Yep. I don't know why I thought BYU lost to somebody. I know Kansas State messed around and lost to somebody, which I think was BYU. But I don't know why I thought BYU was undefeated. Lost one game. I don't know. Why can't I find what's going on? I don't know what's going on, but it's Big 12 is wide open, especially with Utah taking 2 L's, especially with Utah losing again. Cam Rising, the Big 12 is wide open. But that's all I have for y'all tonight. I'll be back tomorrow with 2 episodes. 1 recapping the rest of week 7, the weekend, and then 2 I'm previewing the entire weekday for week 8. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. I believe it was 11 games, if I remember correctly, that I counted. So be on the lookout for that. No time period for the first episode, but I do know the second episode will be between 5 and 5:30. So that was that one. But I will catch y'all in the morning. As y'all can tell by this episode, my eyes are heavy, so I'm about to go sleep. But I catch y'all tomorrow. Peace.
Thank you for staying to the end. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like this video, subscribe, and also hit that notification button so you can be notified next time we put out a video. If you're listening on any podcast platform, subscribe and hit that notification button, y'all, so you can be notified we put out another podcast audio. And last but not least, hit that share button. No matter what you're listening to or watching it, hit that share button and send it to somebody that you know that would love to watch this episode you just listened to. So once again, thank you for staying to the end, and we'll see y'all in the next episode.